Today is Vesak full moon day. It's a sacred day for all of us Buddhists in the world. At the same time, I think it's a day which is the most significant day whole of humanity, because it was the day that Prince Siddhartha was born. He became a Buddha and he attained Mahaparinibbana, or the enlightened, passed away. These three things happen: his birth, enlightenment and passing away on the Vesak full moon day. One of the most important things to remember on this day is Buddha's teaching of mindfulness. I think mindfulness have been absent along with the progress of science and technology to satisfy various greedy instincts of human beings, and forgetting important aspects of life, like not becoming a slave to greed but becoming a master of beneficence, not giving in to competition and conflict but getting into a frame of reconciliation and friendship and cooperation. So the world have been going on in a mindless way for the last few centuries, and we took pride in establishing various forms of economic, political, social relationships around the world, and we became very proud saying that we are one village, one world. But in actual fact, when we look at it, we understand that in this world we had forgotten the importance of the human personality. Human personality of every human being is important. Not only the rich or the powerful or the well-known, but the human personality of every human being, even the poorest of the poor, is most important. So we should have had a philosophy, a vision, where progressors in our fields of knowledge, science and technology should have been utilized for the goodness, the well-being of the last in society. But instead of helping the people who are in greatest poverty, neglect, we have been thinking of the well-being of a few people who had resources, who had money, who had power. Or we started talking about democracy and gave it a meaning, well-being of the majority. But Lord Buddha, when he pronounced to the world his philosophy, he said, we have to work for the awakening of all, enlightenment of all. Never think in terms of a few people or a majority. Think in terms of all. When you think in terms of all, priority should be given to the people who are most needy, who are the poorest, lowliest and the lowest in society. In other words, loving kindness should go to them first, and all our knowledge and resources should be utilized for that purpose. Instead, because we did not have that central thought of awakening of all, as we were thinking in terms of political groups, economic groups, racial, religious groups, we were in conflict all the time for the last so many centuries, in spite of various economic and industrial progress we have been making. There have been so many people, millions and millions of people, who died of hunger, died of disease, who died of war and conflict. While this was happening, coronavirus came to affect not a small group, but it came to affect the whole of humanity. There is no country in the world that has escaped this virus. In other words, no longer can we think of the well-being of the majority or well-being of a minority. We have to think of the well-being of all, well-being of the last man, because the poorest, the lowliest and the lowest man who get infected with disease can destroy that whole community. Therefore, there should be a transformation in our consciousness after this disaster. What is the transformation? Transformation is all our knowledge, all our achievements in science and technology, all our available resources in the world should be used to satisfy the needs of all human beings and not greed. Greed leads to hatred and ignorance. All these three things, greed, hatred and ignorance, are interrelated. Instead of that, we have to build a world where greed has no place, but need replaces greed. Hatred has no place, but loving kindness towards all becomes our principle. Thirdly, not ignorance, but enlightenment. Enlightenment cannot come only by pleasing the five senses, by pleasing your eyes or your ears or your nose or tongue or body or even your mind. These six senses always try to get more and more satisfaction by way of outside greed we develop. So we should be able to control this so that only our needs are satisfied and we don't give in to greed. So when you think on needs and not greed, I think there are enough resources in the world to satisfy the needs of all people. There will be no poverty in the world. There won't be any conflicts, so no need to invest millions and millions of rupees for armed forces. In other words, if you limit the satisfaction of your five senses and then go beyond that and try to develop your extrasensory powers, or you try to develop mindfulness, which brings you discipline, which brings you kind of concentration of the mind, this can lead you to wisdom. And this wisdom will make us see that everything we see around us, within us or around us, everything is subject to change. There is nothing that could be called permanent. Everything is subject to change. Our body is subject to change. Our body is composed of hardness, liquidity, heat and air in space. Now this is changing every moment. Though we don't see it, it changes every moment. Similarly, we have a mind. It changes every moment. So we see that anitya, or change, is one important law of nature. When things are changing, naturally it brings about sorrow. You like to have certain things with you, maybe human beings with you, but they change, they die. That brings sorrow. So all the five senses bring about sorrow at the end of it. Dukkha, suffering. So we are subject to change, we are subject to suffering. Because of our ignorance, we don't see that there is no permanent ego, there is no I within me. If you take the 32 components of this body, as long as they are together, they are fine. But the moment we die, then these 32 components will completely got decayed. There are nothing left. Therefore, anicca, dukkha, anatta are the three conditions which every intelligent human being has to understand with mindfulness. They are also impermanence, suffering, and egolessness. Now, when you have this kind of philosophy, you can limit your greed, you can limit the satisfaction of five senses, and go beyond that to an area where you develop mindfulness to reach concentration and wisdom. And this wisdom will make human beings look at the world in a different way. Look at the world as something where all of us, not only human beings, but also other living beings and even nature can survive without being in conflict with one another. Therefore, on this Vesak day, let us therefore think that human life is much more important than satisfying the five senses, but it can lead us to a level of highest and lasting happiness for which Buddha has shown us the way, what is called the Noble Eightfold Path. Therefore, let us have much more noble objectives than the limited physical desires we have today in mind. May the entire living world be well and happy. May the entire humanity be well and happy. May this corona disaster soon disappear from humanity and let human beings be much more spiritual than before this happened. May all beings be well and happy.